What's up, guys? This is Rise and welcome to a special video. I recently achieved something that you may have seen on social media. I'm pretty proud of it, and this season in Silph I was able to achieve legend status. So if you guys are unfamiliar with Silph, it's basically the competitive tournament format of PvP. It follows a much longer season than your typical Go Battle League season. So if you go to silph.gg, you'll see a global leaderboard option. If you go to the global leaderboard, I'm at number 6 right now. And you see how Dunebug, Vanny, Yurkowski, Ventuski, Beach, me, Burnabus, Crystal Blue Plepsy, and Savage Boy are the only ones in blue. That's because we have reached legend rank. So the rankings go from trainer to rival to challenger to ace to elite to legend, and only a handful of people have ever been able to achieve legend ranking in Silph. It's much more skill and strategy oriented than Go Battle League, I would say, and I think most people that actually play Silph would agree, because it's a show 6 pick 3 format rather than a blind 3. So there's a very large percentage of Go Battle League games where you're either going to win or lose based off of team comp, and it's just there's not a whole lot of play in between. Versus in Silph, you can strategize based off the 6 Pokemon that your opponent has registered for their team in a tournament to really put yourself in a position where you can win more often. And if you look at the win percentage of people that are top in the world in Silph, Dunebug, for example, who's number 1, there's a reason that Dunebug wins 85% of his Silph matches, and he only wins probably 57% of his Go Battle League matches, because there's a lot more skill involved and strategy involved in Silph, where you can put yourself in a position where it's not team comp, where you can say, I'm going to run this because I know even if I lose the lead, I can switch into this, potentially lure this out. So you can, there's a lot more strategy involved. And I think a lot of you guys in the community that were able to see my tweet and a lot of the love I got. So last season, there were also some legends as well in the Silph season. Tho is one of them. I'm sure a lot of you guys know him. And Ventuski is another one, my buddy Panic. Also, by the way, on the side note, I got my Mazer gaming jersey, which looks pretty cool, I think. The esports team I'm part of. But yeah, anyway, really exciting that I was able to reach Silph Legend. It really wasn't a thing I was even thinking of at the start of this Silph season, considering I only started Silph over halfway through season 2. So Legend wasn't really even one of my goals this season. Legend was kind of an afterthought, like maybe one day, but to achieve it in just my second Silph season is pretty special. And yeah, I also managed to sweep my regional, and that is what you are going to see today. So we are going to get into some battles if you were worried that this was just a me talking about stuff stream. But yeah, we're going to get into my regional sweep. In Silph, one of the goals in Silph is you have this long season, and at the end of the season you have your regional based on where you are geographically in the world. And if you win your regional, you are able to qualify for continentals, and then potentially if you win continentals, qualify for worlds to win a potential world championship. So I'm from Wisconsin. If you don't know where that is, you can Google it. But I'm from Midwestern United States, and I was able to sweep my regional, and you guys are going to see how I was able to do that in this video. So a lot of talented trainers, and we're gonna get into these battles. This is the Silph Venture Cup. So the meta, basically, you can look it up if you want a more depth in explanation, but the meta is like the Go Battle League Retro Cup, with no fairies, no darks, and no steals. And then you have a point system. So certain Pokemon are worth more points than others. You have 10-point Pokemon, which are Altaria, Cresselia, Hypno, Frostlass, Lickitung, and one other I think I'm missing. And then you have 6-point Pokemon like Deoxys, Regirock, and others. And then you have 4 points like Abomasnow, Mew, and 1 point, which is everything else. So you have 20 points to build your team, kind of like a draft type of format, or kind of like that. And then you maximum of 20 points for 6 Pokemon, and you roll with the flow. So we're going to get into my Wisconsin regional run. And yeah, enough talking from me. Let's get into it right now. So I talked long enough, and I know you guys want to see the battles, so we're getting into the battles. And this is round 1 in my regional, going up against the Camps. Once again, this is the Wisconsin regional. And if you look at his team, what is Rise thinking in the moment? What am I thinking looks safe? I'm thinking he's got Jellicent, which is a good answer for my DD, which is normally a good safe swap. I think based off his team, Mew looks really safe. Mew looks really safe. Venusaur has a lot of stuff to worry about, so I'm probably not going to bring Venusaur. And I actually bring in Regirock because the only thing Regirock really fears on his team is Shadow Machamp. So I think that's how I decided to bring this line. Regirock double Psychic. If it was the Machamp lead, I would have brought in the Mew. He makes a nice catch here on my Stone Edge with his Machamp, but I'm going to be able to just counter this thing all the way down and take one move. I'm assuming he's not running Payback, so I'm not going to shield this. It's a Rock Slide. It hurts a bit, but it's going to allow me to counter down. And I'm getting ready to throw this Rock Slide right away, I would presume, because I want to get it off before the Lugia potentially takes me out. Oh, what am I saying? Jellicent, sorry. I'm out of sorts. Jellicent's what I meant to say. But they actually Bubble Beam me, which allows me to survive. And I get a shield. So, and there's the Lugia. I guess I remembered there was a Lugia in back. Rock Slide comes through, takes out a nice chunk. But now I can put my Regirock back in here. This is a very comfortable matchup for Regirock because most Lugias are running Sky Attack and Aeroblast. So I'm going to resist all the charge moves. I'm not going to bother shielding because I still have a Mew in back. And I know if I can just save shields for my Mew. And it should be a GG. So I'm probably just going to let this go as well. Oh no, I shield. I guess that's the safe play. If that takes me out, you don't want the Jellicent to, like, I don't know, double bait or something. But yeah, this game's in hand. Not very close. We didn't have to reveal our Mew, which is always good. If I'm able to win a game without revealing a third Pokemon, I like to try and do that because it's not just like for flexing purposes, but for like to throw your opponent off because they're left wondering, I wonder what he had in back with that team comp. Because who knows, maybe based off that team comp, he thought I had a Venusaur in back, and he was wrong. So now we're going with the same team, just a different order. DD, once again, is pretty safe. Just has to worry about Jellicent, and we lead into a Lugia. So I'm not a huge fan of this lead. So I'm just going to go straight for Rock Slide here, only allowing one free turn of energy for my opponent. And this is a little sketch. This could be an Aeroblast, so I am going to shield in case it is. Just a Sky Attack. So once again, just going straight for the Rock Slide. I was able to CMP on that one. I get a shield. Nice. He's double resisting my counter damage, but my Rock Slides are a little bit more threatening. I knew he would either have to debuff himself. He makes another nice catch. Another really nice catch, but I'm going to chip with this Rock Slide. And I actually swap into my Regirock. And the reason I swap into my Regirock here and not my Mew is because I think there's probably a Machamp in the back. At least that's what I'm guessing. And once again, this isn't that bad of a matchup for Regirock. Because although it's a Rock type versus a Water type, the only Water move that Jellicent has is Bubble Beam. So Bubble Beam is such a weak move. It does debuff, but it really doesn't do much damage at all. So it's not going to do much damage to me overall. I farm up as much as I possibly can. Gonna get off this Stone Edge. And he comes back in with Lugia, which really surprises me. So now I'm wondering, okay, maybe there's like a Ninetales in back? He shields. I aggressive swap into Mew. I'm thinking there's a Ninetales in back that I'm probably gonna have to save my shield for. And no, it is the Machamp. So that confused me. I guess he didn't want to take the charge move on Machamp, but I think he should have come in with Chant because I think he would have countered me down before I could get to a Focus Blast. I probably would have only got to a Stone Edge. So I think a bit of a misplay there by my opponent, but Wild Charge is enough to take out the Machamp and then just take no risks in a situation like this. Just go for the Dragon Claw rather than getting cute and farming down or something. So a 2-0 start, which means we secure the round. And once again, if you're not familiar with Silph, you play three games for every match. Whoever wins 2 out of the 3 is able to go on to the next one. And it looks like that was only 2, right? I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe one of my recordings failed, which you'll see later on actually happened as well. But we take our first match 3-0. We took it 3-0 against the Camps, our opponent. So we'll keep track of my overall record in addition to my match record. And we get a beautiful lead in this first game against DeFi, who's also a terrific streamer and shoutcaster, one of the best shoutcasters we have in the community. So make sure to check her out. I'll plug her link in the description. She's really awesome. And looking at her team, she didn't have a really hard answer for Gliscor. So I thought Gliscor would be able to wreak a lot of havoc. Also DD. So I thought Gliscor and DD were really safe against her team. And then Castform has like 4 positive matchups. It has a great matchup against Venu, a great matchup against Noctowl, solid matchup against Whiscash, and a solid matchup against Licky Licky. It only has 2 Pokemon to worry about in DD and Ninetales. So I went with a pretty safe lineup, and I think I end up running a similar lineup for all these games. I'm farming up so much energy here. 2 Weather Balls are going to come here pretty much back to back. I'm farming up as much as I can so I can try and get a Weather Ball to threaten something that comes in, and she actually shields, which might have been a mistake because I was close to that 3rd Weather Ball. I take out the Whiscash, I'm up a shield, and I still have Switch. Gliscor with Fury Cutter is just so spammy. And I know I can tank this move as well, but I am going to shield in case I need Gliscor for something. And it ends up being a Venu. So this is a little scary because Venu's Frenzy Plants do a lot with an energy head start. But I decide I'm just going to Earthquake, and then I'm going to switch. And the opposing DD is so low, I'm in a pretty good spot. DeFi didn't get too much of a head start, so yeah, they're not going to get to 2 Frenzies. I can just go straight Rock Slide here. Rock Slide should almost KO from this range, and then maybe a few more counters after the Rock Slide. 3 more counters, take out the DD. So we win game 1 against DeFi. This is round number 2. And let's see what I'm locking in. I'm locking in Gliscor, DD. Oh no, that's what I had. Do I change it around at all? Not really. Go with the same 3, just different order. And I'm trying to think, what do I think DeFi is gonna lead? Perhaps I'm thinking she's gonna lead Venu since the Venu was a little scary in the back. It's a lot of mind games and a lot of reading, a lot of like psychology. What do you think your opponent is gonna lead? I know I harped about there's a lot more skill involved in Silph versus GBL, but obviously there's still an inherent luck factor in this game in general, as there is like in really any sort of competition in life, right? There's like an inherent luck factor in everything, but obviously there is one here in Silph. So we're waiting for DeFi to lock in. And yeah, I felt pretty good against this team because I think one mistake I made with the teams I ran this month in Silph was I oftentimes didn't have a great answer for DD myself, and she doesn't really either with her team. So DD, really good safe swap against this team. And this is a pretty comfortable matchup for Castform because Castform's going to outpace this thing. Actually, I'm not entirely sure if it is a comfortable matchup, to be honest. She went for the Shadow Ball, which I'm not sure if that's the right call, because Shadow Ball is less energy efficient than Body Slam, since Body Slam gets stab. I'm not messing around. I'm just going straight for this third Weather Ball. And I take it out. I'm getting ready to switch because once again, DD is so safe. Yeah, DD is so safe against her team that I don't want to get farmed down by anything. So, and this is the alignment I would have wanted anyway, right? So I swapped DD into her DD because it was my soft answer. And now I'm just going to go for a Rock Slide here because I figure I might get a shield. So you might think, oh, shield the first one, he could Psycho Boost. So yeah, I do get the shield. Unfortunately, I threw one too late here. So now I have to commit a shield to that I otherwise probably wouldn't have had to commit, which is kind of frustrating. But I'm still in an okay spot. I really need to save a shield for Gliscor in case of a potential Blizzard. But I'm in a pretty good spot. I get her second shield, which is huge. And then we CMP here. So I'm probably thinking come in with Castform to take a potential Mud Bomb. Oh no, okay. And she makes a really nice catch. So she has energy stored on the Whiscash, but as long as I can just come out of this matchup with a Night Slash, or even if I don't have a Night Slash, but I can catch on the Castform, I should be in okay shape. It's 40 energy. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Because I know I win CMP against Whiscash, so I can just safely shield once here. And then have the Night Slash stored. Do I catch? No. There's no reason to catch there. Even though it was probably CMP. Just go for the Night Slash because Gliscor more attack weighted than Whiscash. And, you know, I don't know, like, stat numbers in terms of attack for charge move priority, but I just kind of judge it based on like how tanky a Pokemon is, and I just know that Whiscash is very tanky and Gliscor is kind of middle of the pack, so I just presumed that Gliscor had a higher attack than Whiscash in that scenario. And now we're thinking about what we want to lock in for our final game. I might go with a DD lead because DD is very safe, but once again, like it's not always great to play safe. Sometimes you want to, if you play safe, you could just end up having a bunch of neutral matchups and then lose. So sometimes it's best to like try and call what you think they're going to run. But it looks like I'm going with the same three. DD in the lead so far. We're 5-0 in games, going and 2-0 in this match since we've already clinched this round. Waiting for DeFi to lock in. Once again, go give her a follow. She's really energetic and fun to watch. Shoutcast. She does content with Team Rocket PvP. We get a good lead against the Ninetales. My teams I haven't brought Regirock, so I haven't brought any like hard answer to Ninetales. I'm not gonna shield the Weather Ball. She didn't build up to an overheat, so I know I didn't have to worry about an overheat there. Just gonna go straight Rock Slide. I get a shield, which is nice. And also, I'm pretty happy in this situation that my Castform is avoiding the Ninetales. So the Ninetales is one of the only answers for the Castform. So that's partially why I swap in my Castform against the Whiscash, because I don't want it against that Ninetales. Slightly concerning that it could get farmed down by the Ninetales, but I'm going to go straight for a Blizzard here. And I actually land the Blizzard, which is nice. I might get farmed down here, but at least I'll get to a Weather Ball for some chip damage. And you know, I might make an aggressive swap in this situation. No, I go down. I go straight for the Psycho Boost because the Ninetales has so much energy. I'm figuring they shield no matter what. And now I'm just going to save shields for Gliscor because if you look at her team, Gliscor is pretty neutral against at least everything, and up 2 shields. I don't think there's anything on her team that could beat Gliscor. So, yeah, that's why I just saved my shields for Gliscor. Gonna shield this to be safe, of course, and I should be able to Fury cut her down and then get a Night Slash off against the Ninetales that's still alive. Ninetales had so much energy, so shield in case it's an overheat. But I believe it's only a Weather Ball. And they got, oh, what am I saying? That was kind of weird. It looked like they got a boost, but obviously Weather Ball can't boost. I got a boost. I guess I'm seeing the future. Another move. So yeah, we would have had to shield one of those anyway, but GG's to DeFi. Really good games, and we were able to utilize some of the safer Pokemon we had in that matchup to put ourselves in a position to win. Next up, round 3. We're 6-0 so far in our games, 2-0 in our matches. We're going up against Coltrane, and Coltrane, he actually messaged me before the regional started, just saying like you doing the regional, like good luck and everything, and then we end up playing each other. Positive lead for me, Snowy Cast into Abomasnow. I am going to be resisting the Powder Snows versus I'm doing neutral damage to Obama. They swap into a Munchlax, and Munchlax is kind of safe for my team, so I need to make sure that I retain switch advantage. So I'm actually going to unload this energy here. This isn't something you always want to do. If you have a good answer for something, usually you want to keep that energy and save it for later. But because Munchlax can actually grab a shield against DD, because it can deal super effective damage, that's why I unloaded my energy and then I swapped, because I need to retain switch advantage in this game. I'm not going to shield this because I know I live a Weather Ball. I go for a Rock Slide here. Either I'm going to get a shield or I'm going to do quite a bit of damage. They don't shield, which is surprising, and there's a Victini in back. I'm able to get to another Rock Slide here, which is actually really crucial. And then I'm actually able to switch before my DD faints, which is kind of nice. And then I just kind of have to commit 2 shields to Mew here. They bait with Psychic, even though it's less energy than V-Create. But it makes sense because you don't want to debuff yourself right away. And I have to shield to respect the V-Create. V-Create's kind of like a Blast Burn. Less energy than Blast Burn. I think it's 45 energy, right? But yeah, because Confusion is a 4-turn fast move, it's easy for me to just throw in between the Confusion and make sure that they're not able to catch or pull anything fancy to steal the game. So a pretty comfortable win there. For Coltrane, we had the lead, and we were able to just make sure that we retained switch, and we were able to take the game. So good stuff there. 7-0. The count is at 7-0. Here we go. And you see Rise in between rounds thinking about his team, and like, let's take a look at his team. So Snowy Cast looks amazing against his team. It literally only has to worry about Victini, but I think Snowy Cast beats everything else. Beats Drifbloom, beats Chestnut, beats Abomasnow, has a close matchup against Swampert, but I think it beats Swampert. And Munchlax as well, a close matchup, but I think it wins. So, okay, interesting matchup here. This is good, though, that my Mew is avoiding this, because my Mew does not want to see the Munchlax. And I really want to win switch here, because my cast form really needs to avoid the Victini. And as long as my cast form avoids the Victini, I know I'm in a pretty good spot. So I'm just going to commit a shield and counter down, since they didn't elect to shield their Munchlax. So yeah, I go down a shield, but it's not that bad because I have all this energy that I'll be able to unload on something. What's going to come in? It is the Swampert, and they make a beautiful catch onto their Drifbloom, but it doesn't matter too much because I have a Snowy Cast to punish this Drifbloom. This game ends up being a little bit scary, actually, because I get baited here with an Icy Wind. So I'm just like, uh-oh. Now I'm debuffed. The Swampert has energy and 2 shields still. 2 shielded Swampert. Is the 2-shielded Shadow Swampert going to sweep my whole team? Hopefully not. Kind of a scary situation because Swampert just deals so much damage. I'm almost at my next Weather Ball, though, which will do a lot of damage. I really want to get out of here before I get Mud Shot down. I should be able to switch out before this... before I got farmed down there. The Swampert's going to need to unload 2 Hydro Cannons here to take me out. And at this point, I'm like, oh god. Like, I have to commit to fast moves, I think. So I'm like, waiting. Thinking, what the heck do I come in with? I come in with DD. They live with 1 HP and get to this Hydro. And I know I just need 1 Powder Snow, and I need to live 1 Mud Shot. I live the Mud Shot, and I win. But, man, that Swampert just absolutely went to town against my team. And fortunately, since we had Cast Form on the Drifloon, we were okay. You know, in hindsight, I probably should have not shielded, because even if it was a Shadow Ball, I could live the Shadow Ball and then get a lot of extra farm, so... Probably should have not shielded that Icy Wind Bait. That was probably like a lose con. And the Hydro Cannon honestly probably does more from a Shadow Swampert than the Shadow Ball does from a Drifloon. It's probably pretty comparable. I'd say it's pretty close. We're looking, what do we run for our Game 3 against Coltrane? You see I've been running a lot of the same lineups against people. Like I find a 3 that seem pretty good, and I stick with those same 3, but I typically will change up the order. At least that's how this tournament is going. Sometimes I'll run like a completely different 3 just to confuse my opponent. Oh, it looks like because I saw the Swampert did so much work, I think that's why I'm putting in Venusaur. And we get a beautiful lead into Drifloon. If we had lost lead, we would have swapped into DD to lure out the Drifloon and then farm down. But this is really good. I think I commit a shield here in case this is an Earthquake. It's a Sludge Wave, so that's fine. We could have let that go, I think, but I don't think that would have KO'd. But you're going to see that these Frenzies still chunk away at Drifloon, because Drifloon's on the Glacier side in the Great League. So 2 Frenzies like are almost going to KO this thing. And are they going to bother shielding? They are. We CMP tie, which is great. Icy Wind won't even KO me either. I don't think they can Hex down. It's actually close. Oh, they do lick me down, which is kind of bad. And at this point, because I'm not switch locked and they are, I can just... Oh, look. Oh, never mind. I was going to say Psycho Boost and then switch, but it looks like I'm just going to play out this matchup and just completely sacrifice my Deoxys. I figure I can get to a Rock Slide and a Psycho Boost, and then Cast Form can just close out the game. So a pretty straightforward game this time around. We just had to make sure we kept switch and we didn't do anything too dumb. And we should have been fine. Have the Weather Ball loaded already. This will take out the Drifloon. And then the Munchlax is almost done. It gets Powder Snow down. So good game there against Coltrane. And that puts us at 9-0 overall. And this is round 4. By the way, I never mentioned this is a 5-round tournament. This is round 4. We're currently 9-0 in terms of overall games. We're going up against Alpha Phi, by the way, who's another terrific battler, terrific streamer. Make sure to go give him a follow over on Twitch. But yeah, so looking at his team, it looks a little scary, to be honest. We get a terrible lead, DD into Mew. We save swap our own Mew. And he actually makes a mistake here. So he stays in, and I actually was able to CMP tie him right here in case it was a wild charge. Unfortunately, it was a wild charge. So I'm able to CMP and get a shield. Now comes the Cast Form. I'm going to let this go because I know it's just a Rock Weather Ball. It doesn't do that much. And 2 wild charges should be enough to take out this cast form. So I'm one Shadow Claw away from my next Wild Charge. He goes for the farm down. I get to another Wild Charge. And that Hex, because it was 3 turns, I actually take Switch. Mute takes Switch against the normal cast form, which is crazy. And that's actually going to be the difference in this game, because now I have my Gliscor aligned with this Mew. And you're going to end up seeing what's in back. I'm definitely going to let this go. It's a Dragon Claw, doesn't do that much. In comes Abomasnow, and GG's. So you saw how crucial Switch was there. And Alpha Phoebe, I think, making a bit of a mistake in giving me Switch so easily. But if he goes down a shield, I might win anyway, because the DD might be able to sweep the Mew and the Abomasnow if he goes down a shield. So it wasn't a super easy situation for him to be in. Rock Slide coming through and takes out the Mew. There we go. Getting ready for game number 2. And I mean, the pressure's still on here, right? This is round number 4. I need to win this round to put myself in a situation where I could potentially sweep this tournament. So I'm thinking about what I want to run, and I don't have like a super safe swap against his team. Everything I have has at least one pretty hard counter. DD gets pretty hard countered by Mew. Gliscor obviously gets hard countered by Abomasnow. My Snowy Cast gets hard countered by the Rainy Cast and the Deoxys. My Mew gets pretty hard walled by the Nidoqueen and the Abomasnow. So I don't really have a super safe swap. Venusaur hardwalled by Abomasnow, Regirock hardwalled by Nidoqueen. So I'm thinking pretty hard about what I want to do here. I'm usually pretty quick with changing around my lineup, but you can tell that I'm putting a lot of thought into this against Phoebe. And it looks like we're going to lock in the same 3, just a different order as per usual. Oh, no, wait, never mind. I used the Gliscor in game 1. So a different 3. And we get a great lead. So very happy with this lead. In comes Cast Form. And this is my best answer for Cast Form. So I'm actually going to stay in this matchup. Because I know I can stay in this and I can retain Switch advantage. But it is good that my Mew is avoiding this thing. I know I can take a couple of Rock Weather Balls, no problem. I'm just being careful with my charge move timing. Rock Slide coming through. I get a shield, and I actually countered down before he gets to a move, so a bit of a mistake to shield that in my opinion. In comes a Mew, and I barely get to this Rock Slide, which is actually really nice, because this will do some valuable chip damage, where now my Mew will have an easier time taking this thing out. In comes Abomasnow, I sub in Snowy Cast, and I'm in a pretty good spot here. I figure he could definitely, it's a very baitable situation here, but I feel like I have to shield. Fortunately, he didn't bait. And these Weather Balls are going to chunk. Takes out a big chunk there. Just pretty straightforward, going straight for the Weather Ball. Get a shield. And now I can pretty much just commit to farming this thing down. Because nothing from the Mew is going to hit as hard as an Energy Ball from a Shadow Abomasnow. And I can just go straight Weather Ball here, because you get to 2 Weather Balls, 1 Powder Snow quicker than you get to 1 Blizzard. And I figured I'd just swap into my own Mew to do some oppressive Shadow Claw damage, force him to Wild Charge, in which case he'd be debuffed, and my Shadow Claws can finish the job. So good game there to Alpha Phoebe. Good game. We're up 2-0, so we still have yet to lose this tournament. We're 11-0 so far, going for the 12-0 right here. And every game does matter in terms of your ranking. I don't think I finished explaining it earlier, but you just need to win 2 out of 3, of course, to win the round. But those games, every game counts towards your like global ranking and how much the tournaments move your bar. So every game does matter. I have a tendency to like let my guard down after like winning the first 2. But in this tournament, I was just so focused and locked in that I was staying pretty focused for all these games. By the way, when I do these longer videos, my screen starts lagging after these battles have been playing for a while. So if the battles start to get a little bit out of sync with my commentary, I do apologize. But it's nearly impossible for me to go in and line it all up correctly because it does like lag in, lag out. So I would have to spend hours upon hours upon hours trying to match everything up correctly in a situation like this where it starts to lag. So apologies if it's a little out of sync, but we're making the most of it. DD versus normal cast, energy ball, chunks. Going for a rock slide here. Chips away. I know I can live this, and I'm thinking I can counter down before they get to another. At least I'm hoping. And yep, I do. What's going to come in? DD comes in, and now we're in a pretty good spot. We just got to be careful because we got our Mew. We got our Mew aligned. I realized I wasn't going to get to a rock slide there, so I just did some chip damage with the Psycho Boost. Shields are all still up. Mew can take one move here, no problem. But do I shield? Yeah, I shield because I know they're not going to bait really in this situation. And I'm just going to go straight Dragon Claw because at this point, I know both Pokemon's health are starting to get low. So I'm just going straight for the chip damage moves. Go straight Weather Ball in this situation. Unless Mew has like Rock Slide or Stone Edge or Flame Charge, not a whole lot you need to worry about as the cast form. And we already knew that they were running Dragon Claw, Wild Charge. I do have to shield this to respect the Wild Charge, and it is a Wild Charge, so a little bit sketchy. This DD also has residual energy, but I'm able to Shadow Claw down to take out the DD. So that puts us at 12-0, right? 12-0 through 4 rounds. We haven't lost. And that was a bad drum roll sound effect, but the championship round, right? What you all want to see. Well, unfortunately, the video corrupted from the championship round. And I know that probably sounds controversial, like, oh, yeah, sure it did. But to explain to you what happened in the final round, I was the only person that was 4-0, parenthesis 12-0. And my opponent, everyone else had lost at least one game. My opponent was going to play against me to force the tie. He beat me game 1 pretty soundly. I got pretty hard countered. I beat him game 2 pretty soundly. Even though I lost lead, I actually was able to lure out a Pokemon that my back Pokemon avoided. I lured out his Snowy Cast with my Mew, and then my Venusaur swept. And the same thing happened game 3. We chose the exact same 3 lines. I made the same swap, and he did lag. He missed a couple of Psycho Cuts with his Cresselia, and I won the game very, very dominantly. But after like 20 minutes, after we both had reported the result, he went to the tournament organizers to show them the video and say that there was lag. And I gave my opinion because they wanted my thoughts on it, since they know I'm like well versed in the game and lag. And I gave my opinion that I thought I was in a very dominant spot where I don't see any way where he could win the game after the initial lead and then the swap. They said, yeah, that's true, but like the lag did occur kind of early. And I'm like, yeah, that is true, but So what I ended up saying was I'd be willing to replay if we run the same teams and we replay up until the point of lag, which I think is a fair offer from me, right? Like, I thought I was in a dominant position based off the swap in. So I offered to replay because it wasn't like a really complex game where we would have had to, like, it would have been impossible to replicate. We literally just would have had to swap in. Same teams, swap in, go from there. But my opponent refused to rematch that way with the same teams, which I think kind of reveals that he knew that I pretty much had that game in hand. And Silph rules do say that in a rematch due to lag, you pick different Pokemon in back. But I think Silph may need to rethink that rule because theoretically, what if I get hard countered in the lead? I get hard countered in the swap, and then I like unplug my router and I lag out. Like, do I get to replay then? Because I send them the recording that I completely lagged out and it was only 2 seconds into the game. And then we get to choose different lines. So that seems unfair to me. And that's a situation that potentially could have occurred here. But in the end, my opponent said he would allow me to have the win, considering that the way it happened, it was very unlikely he would be able to win. So a little bit of drama. My opponent got very upset and tilted, which I understand. It was a very high stakes, high pressure situation, but I've met him in person and I think he's a really nice guy and he's a good guy and he meant no harm by it. But yeah, so not the way I wanted to win in the end with a controversial sort of thing, but I was able to win the regional. I won my spot in Continentals, and later in the month with a 6-1 tournament performance, I was able to reach legend rank. So, whew, man, my voice is tired. I'm recording this video right after my day job, which is esports commentary. So I've literally been commentating for 6 hours, and then I do this right away. So sorry if I seem, I don't know, if I seem different, but I think it's just because I'm a little bit commentaried out right now. So maybe I should have done this later at night. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Legend ranking, let's go. If you did enjoy this video, it took a lot of more effort and time than normal. So I would appreciate if you left a like and subscribed. Leave a comment down below if you enjoyed. I know a lot of you are more interested in Go Battle League than Silph, but there's definitely a big Silph community out there as well that really appreciate these videos, because these videos don't get as much love as GBL typically. And I think Silph has potentially like a huge future if Niantic's able to solve the lag issues and if PvP can grow into a legitimate esport, something bigger. Obviously, I don't think PvP is ever going to be like Fortnite level esport or like Valorant. Nothing. It's probably never going to be anything like that, but it could grow into something bigger than it is and be a cool little niche thing. But all that said, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.